Hello, and welcome to another podcast for Patreon members. Today is going to be maybe a little more all over the place, a lot to catch up on. As always, running a little bit behind on my podcast. I think that I'm going to record one right after this, and it's going to be a little bit different, less about me, more so just about maybe movies in general. I've been watching a lot of movies, but I really want to talk about Lilo and Stitch, the movie. I have a lot to say about it. And I know that I have Mrs. Moon Media moments, but I haven't really posted on that in a bit. So I'm just going to do the two since I owe you two anyway. But I did want to talk today while I do a bunch of things. You can see if you're watching the video version, the madness of my room in its entirety. No cleaning up beforehand, no pretending that I'm not a mess because I am constantly a mess, and the way that my desk is awful right now, and I actually need to I'm planning on rearranging my room a little bit and making this side of my room like more of a workspace, and like getting a second desk, like a standing desk opposite of where this desk is, and that's going to be like my craft desk, so that way this isn't happening. And for audio listeners, there is just like so much yarn just in front of my desktop right now, and it just always like this no matter how much I clean it, because that's just how it is. I always have yarn while I'm doing things. Can't help it. And, I'm always going to be dumping yarn places instead of putting it away. It's just not something that has changed about me. So why try to change how I am rather than just adapting to how I am? You feel me? The only challenge with that is that I'm going to have to get a desk. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a desk, and that's gonna literally cost me. I am currently making some pillow cozies to send out while I talk to you. Give me 1 second. I need to count to 14. Okay, thank you for your patience. So, today I wanted to talk about the feeling that, like, the feeling of not having enough time, and how it's a blessing and a curse, I guess. I also wanted to talk about the process of writing my book because, God, I have been going absolutely just nuts, just crazy. But I wanted to talk about like the feeling of just like not having enough time, because I feel like, I always start the days like wanting to be like so productive, having a whole list of things. And I'm like, I know this is a lot of stuff, but like realistically, I know that I can get a lot done, but then I don't. And I know this is like, we can attribute a lot of this to the ADHD, where I'm just like having so much planned out. And then instead of like doing it all, I kind of just like dilly dally thinking about what I should do. And then all of a sudden it's like 1 or 2 hours later. What's up with that? And having like trying to balance between like having the work to do and all the priorities, and then also like hanging out with your friends and everything. And like I have been really prioritizing just like hanging out with my friends and hanging out in general, whether it's in person or online, which I do feel like because I've been hanging out a lot more in person, I haven't been playing a lot of video games with my friends, and that's how like a lot of us became friends to begin with. But it's cool that we get to play in person too, but like also, how do we balance that? It's a lot, and like it's a privilege to even be complaining about that. Sure, it definitely is. Hold on, sorry, I gotta count again. But I think the problem just it just the problem isn't the problem comes down to that grind set mentality that we have to have, and how we like have to work and have to do all this stuff to like make our money. And like I've talked about this, having the privilege of being able to work for myself, but like that's how I make my money. Like I have to do more work, and like maybe there'll be a point where like I make more for doing less. But I will say that I sometimes do envy, and the grass is always greener on the other side. I do sometimes envy people that work from home remote, and like don't really work 8 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? That you get paid for when you don't have a lot of work to do and you can just dilly-dally. I envy that a bit, you know? But again, grass is always greener, but sometimes I'm like, God, wouldn't that be nice? But here's something else. I actually got a part-time job for the summer that I'm really excited about. And it will be Monday through Friday, 5 hours a day, like 12 to 5. Luckily, you don't have to wake up early. And I am excited about it, a little bit worried because that means less time. But you know, a girl needs more money, but also needs more of a structure. I lack structure in my schedule, and I think that's what contributes to me feeling like I'm not having enough time, is because I'm lacking structure and then I just don't do anything. And I'm hoping that getting myself into a groove, getting myself into motion will keep me in motion and thus have me doing more. And I'm really excited about this job because it's a creative job. I am going to be the art specialist for a summer program for a school. And if it works out, then I can continue doing after school programs with the kids, which I think is really cool. And so I'm going to be specializing in multimedia art, like anything. For the first time probably ever, I feel like I had an amazing interview. I don't interview well, I don't think, because I'm not good at speaking professionally. I never have been, and especially nowadays it's worse because I lack environments where I do have to speak professionally. And it worked out because it was a casual interview, and the guy interviewing me stated that immediately, that it was going to be very relaxed, very casual, and he does better interviews when he speaks relaxed as well. He looked at my resume and he was very enticed by the variety that I had in my resume, which can sometimes seem like a bad thing, honestly, because it feels like I maybe skip around too much or anything like that. I always worry that maybe it is a little bit too all over the place. It does show that I am a jack of all trades, but perhaps a master of none. So it is sometimes feels a little risky, I guess, to put all the stuff on, but it's also the truth. So it felt nice for somebody to say that he liked that I just was all over the place in terms of my skills and my past experiences. And I don't even think I had anything about being a collegiate athlete on there. But during the interview, it came up because I did also apply to be one of the summer coaches, because I do miss coaching. And for those of you who don't know, I did play lacrosse in college. I was really good at it, and I do miss it a lot. And I did also coach during college, and I miss coaching people. And it's one of the ways to get like an outlet for lacrosse without actually playing, which, by the way, I need to look into adult leagues for lacrosse. I feel like it's going to be a little hard to find, but you know, my best friend plays quad ball, aka the rebrand of Quidditch. I think I could find lacrosse. But I do get jealous when I go to their soccer games because I would like to play. And also, I'm jealous that soccer is such an easy sport to find rec leagues for. Anyway, tangent, backtracking a little bit. So that came up in the interview. And so I also have the opportunity to do sports related things. I'm not just limited to art, but I did need a title. And it was cool because I don't think they needed anybody else, but they have me as like this all around person that can help out with the stuff that they do need, which is arts and craft related things. And I get to choose what we do. And I'm really excited about that because that means I have an excuse to try different mediums and use my creativity in other ways and use that energy elsewhere. And I fear sometimes that the monotony of everyday life and crochet being my job and knitting being so closely related to crochet, that I don't find the same joy that I did in the craft because it is my job. And I really do try to, and I've been really good about it up until writing the book. And I think the book has taken a big toll on me. I talk about it very positively in a lot of my public videos and everything. But the reality of it is that it is such a great opportunity. However, it has been causing me a lot of stress and a lot of creative blocks, especially because I feel like the designs that I'm making in the book are meant to be beginner designs and a little more basic. And I do think that having like the two modern designs of the front tie cardigan, and now I'm doing a boho front tie cardigan, a tie front, like one that like ties like in the bottom. If you think about like a boho style tie top versus like an Adina cardigan. With the exception of those two, they are a little more basic, and having to make patterns with the thought, having to make designs with the thought of how am I going to make this a pretty digestible pattern in mind, it takes away from my creative process a little bit. But I also do feel that this could be fun, making the designs itself, if it wasn't attached to this extremely huge project that is just a challenge for someone with a brain like mine to do. And I'm really excited for it to be done. What's looming over me right now, that was the first time I think I said in a while. I'm really proud about that, by the way. I'm trying to be a little more cognizant of filler words. Using, now I've lost track because of saying that. The other thing that I am worried about this month as well is once I get the book done, or the main part of the book done, I'm currently tech editing it and adding all the blurbs for each of the patterns and everything, and the intro and the ending, like all the actual pattern stuff is done. I have to crochet so many things for the book in such a short amount of time, and that worries me. I feel like I used to be able to sit and just bang out a bunch of crochet things, and I had like a lot done in a month, but I just can't sit down and crochet for a long time anymore. And I know a lot of it is mental. The block in my head of relating this to work and a project that I have not necessarily been getting a lot of enjoyment out of. It's one of those things that I will get delayed gratification of and fulfillment later on when it's done and out. And currently I'm trying to find joy in it, but it's really hard when I'm doing all the boring parts of it. And maybe once I start crocheting and I get into a groove where I'm rewarding myself while getting things done, of watching a bunch of shows and stuff, maybe it'll feel a lot better for me and it'll feel like it used to. But I do hate that happens in my brain. I really do. And I feel like there's been a lot of things that I've been putting off doing. Sorry, I will have to count again. A lot of creative things I've been putting off doing because I keep thinking, well, I have to finish my book. I can't start this thing because I have to finish my book. I can't practice sewing because I have to finish my book. It's going to take away time from doing my book. But then I spend so much time procrastinating anyway that I might as well just do it. But I still feel guilt from doing it, even though I know I should have some kind of break, some kind of escape, and some kind of other hobby to be able to separate from crochet and stuff a little bit. But it's hard. It's, again, once again, the mental thing about that. And I want to sew so bad. And all the free time I have, I spend with my friends. And I would rather do that, in a way. Because I have been so isolated for so long in my previous life, that I would rather spend that free time with friends. Now, what I'm finding is great is that I am sometimes mixing those two things together. For example, one of my friends is going to come over on Monday, and he's been wanting to learn how to sew so he can hem his own things, and because it's obviously just like a really good skill to learn. And so he'll be coming over, and I'm not an expert, but I can teach him the basics. But then in teaching him the basics and doing it together, I feel like we will be learning together and learning in a really good way. And that's exciting because now I'm hanging out and doing the hobby that I've been putting off, and that seems like a great way to do it And it sucks because I'm like, oh, without feeling guilty, but it's just like the way it is. I don't want to feel guilty about it, but I fear that I will until this book is done. But another thing I want to get into bad is chainmail, and I just like know that I can't get into a whole big hobby because I know I will get so sucked into it until I finish the book. But God, I'm so excited to do it. I'm so excited to start my new hobbies. Want to get back into cross stitch and everything, etc., etc. So, if anything helps with the guilt, I'm gonna do it, including having this job. I think that's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna double dip a little bit. And when I learn these new hobbies, I will be filming it and putting it up on YouTube. So I hope that you're looking forward to that. I've had so many things saved for so long that I'm going to apply, but also there's so many other things that I was already starting to look up and save on my phone in different like folders on TikTok and Reels of things that I want to do, crafts that I want to try, and that was already giving me some kind of creative fulfillment. It's nice. It's nice to do something different and step out of what you do every day. And it does suck that like when you do become a full-time artist that these are the things that happen. And I did find comfort in another full-time artist sharing her experience about being full-time and how she felt like she was creating more when it wasn't her full-time job, because it was like, this is the outlet from the thing that is my job, and I'm going to do that because it's going to make me feel better. And then it becomes your job, and then you no longer get that feeling. And that sucks. It really does suck. But I'm really glad that someone else shared that feeling, because I've been feeling that a lot. And it's nice when other people are vulnerable online, so it doesn't make me feel like I'm the only one feeling that, or, that even though I have that privilege, or because I have that privilege, I'm not allowed to feel that way. And I sometimes find that even with my close friends, I stop myself, or I give a disclaimer before complaining about certain things about my job, because I don't want anybody to think that I'm like complaining over this thing that is such a privilege. But at the end of the day, like, there's grass is always greener. Once again, there's always stuff that's going to be a little bit tough, and it is a challenge to do something like this. I have been trying to kind of veer my content a little bit into, just like the lifestyle bit of things. And I do know that my personality takes me a long way, especially because I'm not the most technically gifted or talented at my craft that I know, and I'm aware that people watch for me. And so that's also a goal of mine. So that way, the crochet feels more like a hobby again, that even though it is incorporated into my work, that it's not the only thing about me that does give me my job. And that way it feels more creative. And again, I was doing a pretty good job of this before the book, because it's like, well, I have that. It literally is my job right now. I like have to do this thing. But being able to like record the stuff and just document it and like do it because I really just want to do this thing, that was making it feel really good. And I just have to power through and do this book. And with every single job, everybody has to do something that is tough, tedious, challenging, hard, that they just don't want to do. And this is the thing. The only thing is like, I do have someone looming over my neck about it, but they're not technically my boss. But like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. But just know that this thing is my baby, my, oh my God, I have to sneeze. Hold on. I'm trying to cover the mic. I'm so sorry. This thing is my baby. No matter how much, well, that's what babies do, right? They put you under a lot of stress, and it's really challenging, and sometimes the hardest thing that people do and deal with. Yeah, this is my baby. This is my baby. And I hope that when it does come out, you all will appreciate it and love and support me and my work. The most delayed gratification, though, next year, and I get it, but it's just like, wow, next year. Anyway, there's not enough time in a day. There's really not. Like, right now it's already like 2:50. Where does the time go? And like the way that like the months fly by and everything, and I can't believe how fast June flew by. And because of that, I'm really trying to take it day by day and really like appreciate the everyday stuff. But I feel like I really jam-pack my days. There is no real solution. I mean, there's little solutions to make the days feel more productive and everything, but it's so different for everybody. It's so different for me. And I hate the feeling of being like, oh, once this is done, like looking forward to something. But at the same time, it's like, oh, it is taking up so much. Like, would I do this again? Probably not. I think I will still stick to self-publishing. It did one of the positives is that it did make me realize that writing a pattern for me, I'm pretty good at it, and it's not that hard to do one at a time. I can do that more often. After this book, I can do that more often. I would like to get back into pattern writing and self-publishing. Writing a book, let me tell you, I got almost 6,000 words and 60 pages here. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I don't even have the photos done yet. Oh God, the photos. The photos. Just tedious work, you know? So yeah, so I'll be getting back into pattern making. I'm really excited to like really expand my YouTube channel and all that stuff. Post all this. Well, also, I mean, I'm doing it while I'm doing all this. It's just, was this podcast just like me complaining a lot? I really hope it wasn't. I really hope it wasn't. But I did just want to give you a deeper look into how I've been feeling and how my brain has been operating beyond the YouTube videos, you know, because I feel like, I mean, I try to do a good job of not like romanticizing everything. I feel like I'm pretty honest in those videos, but I don't want to get deep into like my psyche and shit in those videos. And so I feel like this is a good place to really like talk about it and be like real with you about the process of things and how I've been going day to day. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm having so much fun. I am having so much fun, but there are weeks that I just, especially when the first manuscript of this was due, or the first draft of the manuscript was due, days that I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. That imposter syndrome seeping in. Don't know what I'm doing. I had a moment when I was going through the first round of tech edits that I had to just cry for a second because I felt so inadequate at my own job. One of the thing that broke me was one of the edits was saying like something about the formulas that I had written, and I just like couldn't get my brain to understand what the formula even was, what she wanted it to be fixed. And I was just thinking, oh my God, I don't understand my own patterns. I don't understand what I did, and I wrote this. And that's what really broke me. It made me start to cry. And hey, just like expending that energy really is helpful sometimes, because I just needed that cry for a second, and then I locked in and I was good for the next few hours. I did half of the edits. But that feeling is so real of just being like, oh my God, I just like can't do this. You get so overwhelmed that you feel like that it's so beyond you, and it's not. And it's not, but it does feel like it is. And like, if you ever feel like crying about it, like sometimes just letting it out is the best thing to do before you lock in and just do it. I find that I've been body doubling a lot, and that really helps me. I really do like to body double. It does suck that I can't body double as much with my monitors in front of me, because these things sometimes require that all these monitors and stuff. But you know, finding little ways to help you with these things, to make it a little bit easier, is awesome. And even like, I've body doubled virtually, where I call up one of my best friends and we both work for ourselves, and we just sit there while we work together, and we get a lot done, even if it's in like silence. And that helps. Even like rewarding yourself, finding things that you can reward yourself. I can only, you know, I would like to take a break and play this video game, but I only can if I get like this much done. Let's work for it. And I think that body doubling does help, because those friends help you stay accountable. For example, I really wanted to play, and don't kill me for this, because I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it, and I'm pretty sure they got it for like as a gift or something like that. Hogwarts Legacy. I've been playing it on my friends' PlayStation, Xbox, so that I didn't have to buy it, but also because like why not? Really wanted to play it, but he was saying that he only would allow me to play it, allow, in quotations, if I finished editing one more section of my book. Like I wasn't like, can you do it by 8? Sure, okay, finish that up and then we'll play. So simple as that. Like simple as that is a great motivation. I find that like having things like, oh well, the motivation should be you're writing a book and the book will come out, or the deadline is tomorrow and so they want it, so therefore you should finish it. Like that's not enough motivation for me, especially long-term motivation like that. It's like I can't see the goal. I can't see the goal. What I can see is if I finish this one section, then I could play a game for a little bit. And I was just talking about this with Molly as well, because another goal of mine this month is to finally empty out the boxes and bins that are over there and that have been there for a while in my room. Like I've lived here for how long now, and I still have boxes and bins in my room that just have been sitting there. Instead of being like, oh, I'm just gonna get rid of all the boxes, I could do one day a week where I'm like, I'm going to just empty out this specific box. That's my goal. Breaking it into like little pieces, that would help. And what's also going to help me with that is the body doubling again. She will come over and help me. And it feels sometimes childish to be like that, where it's like I need somebody to like watch over me and do it with me, but like it's not. That's just how our brains work sometimes. And sometimes we need it, and maybe we need it so that way our brains can work like that alone. But if you know that it helps, it's like, why not do it? I do sometimes feel that way, where I'm like, am I a child that I need my friends to like look over me and like make sure that I'm doing these things? And it's just like, yeah, sometimes you do, and that's okay. That's okay. At least you're getting it done. You're finding a way that works for you. Anyway, I think I'll call it here. I don't know if this was like inspiring to you or maybe gave you some ideas or whatever, but it's just me talking. I hope you enjoy, and I hope that you have a good summer. Look ahead for my next podcast. My camera does need to charge for a little bit, so look ahead for the next podcast. I will try to do that right after this. But thank you so much for being a Patreon member. Today was a little bit low energy. This is the first time I like really talk, so today. There's the again. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for being a Patreon member. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what video ideas that you may have. Let me know what you want me to talk about, etc., etc. Have a lovely day.